I'm literally watching a tarot reading that's very specific about me. It said, stop self sacrificing behaviors for people that don't reciprocate, or you're not going to get what you deserve. Then I wandered out over to this open space, looked up at the sky, and said, are there any benevolent beings watching over me? And I got an obvious sign. And then I immediately start self sacrificing. As soon as I felt any positivity, I'm like, I need to give it to everybody. So let's stand right in the middle. I'm going to give you something real quick for anybody watching. This is a cigarette that someone wandered into my neck of the woods and gave me a bunch. Hello. You want the light this way? What's up? Okay, 3, 2, 1. Everything that's happening around you is an extension or a reaction to your inner world, the same way that you prompt an AI app and it creates something for you. The only difference between the AI app and this is that in order for this to exist, because of quantum physics, there needs to be an observer. See that car going up? There's been no cars for hours and hours and hours. It's been barren and empty. But when I talk about how things need my view in order to exist, now we have all these lights. Look, all the lights turning on, all the cars going, all this different movement going on around me. To take advantage of my eyes and you watching. So this experience to be possible, all this stuff, in order for it to exist, it's all observing each other. Just like my favorite star in the sky, right here. Is it visible enough for you to see it? I miss your smile, the way you laugh. I miss your eyes. What we had, it ain't that bad. So there's things that you're constantly putting into the forefront of your mind, and there are things that want to become realer because of your observations, which is why your influence and your influences need to be caretaken like a garden. You need to be very careful and very mindful about everything that you're consuming, everything you have around you, because it's contributing in this back and forth dance of in and out, breathing in your senses, and then exhaling your creativity. But that's just high level stuff, you know. It's just stuff the stars want me to know for some reason right now. But I think it's myself telling myself, but I think that there are caretakers of us as we are in the Garden of Eden, maybe. But all I wanted to say really is that anything you want is possible, and that all the problems that burden you and bury you, it gets hard. Like I told you guys a lot. I've had the entire town turn on me many times my whole life. I had ritualistic gang stalking abuse as a child to embed me with abandonment issues so that I would long for the people that were my abusers, and they did it subconsciously. And I'm at this where I don't know if it's they did it because they knew what they were doing, or if they tuned out by their own trauma and something else was puppeting them or piloting them to do it. But for whatever reason, they instilled a lot of horrible things in my psychology as a child so that they could ritualistically farm me for energy. And then the smarter I got, the more potential I got because I'm the hardest working person I know. Even if it seems like I might live a lazy life, my mind is constantly working in pressure that when I see other people try to pick up, they hit the ground and they don't get up for months. So I learned it took me a year to get up from the ground. And then I walked. And I'm so happy it happened and I'm so excited for the future. And that's not necessary. You don't have to go put yourself through suffering if you don't need to, but I chose to do it. I'm looking at the ground and seeing these tire tracks, and it's reminding me of a dream I had last night where I was in a field in 2025, the year of the wood snake. I was on a trail system by an old place I used to like in 2024 with the new energies of 2025, and I could see how it was different, how the color scheme had changed and brightened. And I was walking through a trail network looking for a place to set up my tent. And I had a bunch of different tents. And I was just looking for an area to call my own. I was like a nomadic traveler by myself, exalted, watching this character of myself walking. But also, I was the person viewing myself and observing myself exalted, like an 1133 Casey O'Brien Sagittarius Aquarius. So I was watching myself go, and I was myself at the same time, from different dimensions, from different levels of experience, so that I would be able to be in this realm, but also be my true self. And then I love how the Taurus rising that I have in my Saturn and Taurus in the first house, Saturn being the constricting force, the sort of trap that you're in, the ring around you. So my first house is Taurus Saturn, as well as my ascendant, which means that I have a very, very practical. People would think, at a first glance, people would assume I'm stupid because most people live where the overwhelmingness is at the forefront of their consciousness and everything that they're processing is like out here and they're going through it. But I naturally thrown into my wings and I'm naturally able to focus on what's in front of me, which has helped me survive as long as I have. But a part of that with the Sagittarius sun is that I'm always exploring with that. So I'm always uncovering something new. And because of the Taurus rising, which is the most, it puts the Leo in the North Node, which means that you have the most beautiful experience possible on Earth. That simple, foundational versus the infinite grand scheme of things. Are you starting to see how, as above, so below, the golden spiral, how that's representative everywhere in all of the facts of me on a theoretical level and then exemplified and embodied in the journey of my life as an example to the stars that are watching? Or do you guys not care and you went to bed? That's fine. This is a masterclass in the universe. People, I don't know when I should debut. It's just one sentence that I feel will change the world, and I keep it hidden and I keep it close. But on the dream I had, I looked over, and so I'm standing here, I look up, it's midday, something out of the bushes pops its head up, and it's a snake. And I'm like, oh, it's a garter snake, it's small. But I didn't realize that it was a lot closer than I thought. It wasn't a garden snake just out there in the thicket. It was a giant snake right there. And it jumped through the air, straight line, around here, whipped around, and then was staring me down like this with its fangs. And its fangs I could feel the venom in the fangs ready. And it was just hovering over me, and I was blocking it with a sort of protective aura. And it was just hovered over me. And I could feel the denseness of the scale. I could feel the ancient knowledge. I could feel how old that snake was, how wise the snake was. And the scales were this deep, dark, almost black brown with this sort of red hue inside of it. And its eyes were more human than snake. It was still snake eyes, but I could feel like the mind behind the snake wasn't necessarily the way that we perceive animals to be. It seemed just as conscious and capable of thoughts, capable of dreaming, capable of moving through the universe. And then when I woke up, something that was a lot brighter than the snake, what I'd classify as a soldier of God, like a holy angel or just a white light warrior. But I think I created that. It was like a co-creation between me and something else. Or maybe I allowed that entity to come through for a second. And I beat the snake back using something I won't teach you. But if you take in knowledge long enough, eventually you'll gain wisdom and you'll be able to express that knowledge with wisdom to do things. So I scared the snake away. It was very quickly I did it, but it was complicated. But now, because of something in my dream, I have a new take on reality. I've appreciated and understood another level of art, and it was something that I wouldn't normally create. It's something that if I sit here, I'm not sure. It would take me a while to come up with what I saw in that dream. The level of intricate detail, and it seemed like thousands of years of wisdom in that string theory makeup of a dream snake. In order because I do it practically like Legos, everything I do is like taking stuff that's real and I slowly work it into and weave it into what I'm doing. So for me to make that snake would take a long time, but I know that everything is us. So I know that that's a part of me. So I think that each level is like a new season of the show. So it's not a coincidence that a king cobra that was just as big, if not bigger than me, at least tall, longer than me. So when it was up, it was taller than me, barreling down on me in the place where, in a town where the whole town was against me. So the place that I was looking for a place to stay. The symbolism of it is that the setting of the area was the setting in my mind where in the past I had nobody on my side and an entire town was against me for things I had no control over and rumors. So I was attacked by an ancient snake in the year of the snake in a town that was against me. So as I'm walking, the stars are telling me, or myself is coming through to me, and this is all my own mind. I'm just inside of my own mind, and I'm communicating to myself exalted. So it's not an angel speaking to me. It's me speaking to me, to myself. It's just instead of my thoughts being in my head on a grander scale, my thoughts are coming to me there. But the tarot reader is literally telling me not to engage in self-sacrificing behavior. So I was waiting to see if the storytelling would bring people, and then when the people got here, I would have started to solve problems and help them out. But I'm pretty sure it's just my mom and Heather here. What's up, guys? If you're not my mom or Heather, like the video. You fucking dorks. Thank you for the $20. I still hate you so much. Holy shit. It's the year of karma. I know you're terrified. But there she goes. Okay. Okay. God, I have so many things I want to do. It's going to take a lot of work, but I believe it's divine timing. I get up every day. I get up every day. I don't have to get up. I could stay in my bed for months and never have to leave, but I get up every day. And when I go into public, I don't just sit there in depression and fight to just get through it. I actively try to make the world a better place everywhere that I go. Everyone that I see, everywhere that I go, I try to embody something positive because I know that I'm infiltrating their consciousness and their reality. I'm entering their dream as a Sagittarius, the traveling explorer. 33 life path. I know everyone that I pass, there's something I have to teach them. So it sucks. I'm so happy to have been through all the fights that I've been through because the world has gotten way more, is it conflictual? Where all they know is conflict at this point, and every man that I go around seems to want to hurt me. And what sucks spiritually is that the only thing that could ever beat Casey was the entire United States government. And the only way that they could beat me is because they can continue to harass me spiritually and sexually through quantum mechanics and the mycelial network. And I technically can't do anything the way that I normally would, so I'm forced to try to find a new solution because they have what's called qualified immunity, which means if they wanted to, and I beat them in the best way that I could. You know, I don't see them harassing me, do you? Remember every time I started going, they'd show up? They're not busy. But they've been leaving me alone. Which means that either I or God got to them. But you know, it's I am is God, so we're all a part of the universe. The light of God shines in all of us. But people say the light of God shines in all of us, but then they say that Lucifer is bad, the light bringer, the one that brought you the light, the one that showed you the light, the one that shined the light so everyone else maybe Lucifer is the embodiment of the human need to express itself. So Lucifer embodying that, I'm going to shine my light for the world to see. Maybe they don't like that because that's ego. But it's not ego, is it? Why are people saying that the Statue of Liberty, shining the light, Lucifer, the light bringer, the guy that comes out and he's a beautiful angel that shines this big light, why is that bad? Why do people show up for a couple seconds? That's what I don't understand. But there's a big secret for you if you didn't know. Like when you look at I think it's called Harem. What's Pegasus? What's the one with the Pegasus? When you would watch old movies in the 2000s and it would do all the intros to the production companies. And one of the production companies was that Lucifer with the holding the flame, and I think there was a Pegasus involved. Was it Pegasus? It's not Paramount. Was it Paramount? I know Lionsgate. So just to show you that all those people were already in on this. Lionsgate Productions. The Lionsgate is the Egyptian New Year. When Sirius comes down and shines you full of energy during Leo. And that's why Egyptian art and architecture is that deep black with the gold. Because the sun, like the melanated people, the sun, when it shines, it sort of turns your energetic system this dark black. It condenses you. And that's my favorite. I think that's my favorite season. Having a birthday on December 11th, just, like my dad's birthday is August 10th. So my dad gets a birthday, and then in his celebration, when everybody's like, "We love Gary," and he celebrates and he has his good night, his moment of the year, all the energy that he makes immediately gets filled up with the light of Sirius, and he transcends in the Lionsgate portal every year. Isn't that amazing? Every year that my dad has, he celebrates, and then the entire world changes immediately. As soon as my dad's birthday is over, the entire world shifts on the 11th. So he has the Lionsgate. Okay, sorry. The Lionsgate fills him up for the 8th and the 9th, and then my dad's birthday is the 10th. So his birthday is like a ritualistic celebration of the entire world where he sets the stage as a Leo on a mountain. King of Mount Snow in Vermont, the legend. So in between the Lionsgate portal and the first Master Number 11 day where the balance comes back, the entire world kind of boosts my father up. Whereas for me, on 12/11, it's just a big humbling where the world gets very mad at everything every year. And then Scorpio happens with the underworld, and there's still all the aggressive violence, all the darkness that people dwell into, all the sexual ego gratification, and all the evil monsters come out, and you're trapped in the scorpionic underworld, in the water waves, which allows for the darkness to thrive and writhe, and you can jump through and squirm, but with the shamanistic energy of the 11th month. And the leaves are not on the trees, and there's no snow, so it's almost barren. Which is why Scorpio is such a dark sign. And then you move into Sagittarius, the orange, the 33. Orange in gematria adds up to 33. Just like black and white adds up to 11. So 11/11 is black and white, and then 33 is orange. And Sagittarius is orange, and it's ruled by Jupiter. So when Jupiter the cosmic clock ticks, and we're back into Sagittarius. Jupiter takes over, and it starts to just rampage through, or just ride through like the cavalry, basically. Like imagine the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones when Jon Snow was about to lose because he was not as good of a commander as he thought. Because he had only ever really gone up against hordes of wildlings. And he had never seen an organized sociopath with a greater army. So he still did it, and he got right to the battlefield, and he fought bravely until they boxed him in. And then in the start of the winter, so around the end of November, Scorpio season, and they're boxed in the underworld where they had people piling over them, and they were just hiding in a shield wall, and they were on all sides. And then people from the northeast, so that's the Eastern Star, that's also where Brian Boru's castle was in Ireland. That's what you would consider Vermont if Atlanta and was King's Landing. Or in a simpler term, where I have my Vivek's cabin, if you overlaid the Game of Thrones map over Vermont, then right where I'm standing right now would be where Winterfell is. Isn't that cool? And that's cool. And then where I started would be King's Landing. And then Boston would be Dorne. So the Iron Throne, if you overlaid the map of Westeros over Vermont and over Ireland, my hometown would be where King's Landing is, and then Dublin would be where King's Landing is. And then where I am right now would be where Winterfell is. Unless you count Canada as the wall. If you count Canada as the wall, then the border to Canada is the wall, then I'm in technically where Winterfell is. And then where I'm headed next would be sort of where Lannisport is, which is right by where the Greyjoys are at. And the Greyjoys would be the sticks of New York, which is cool because that's cool, and that it fits so perfectly because where I'm headed is the richest part of Vermont, maybe if I want to go. And then on the other side, where the Greyjoys would be, on the other side in New York, it's a really, really ho-dunk trailer park out in the sticks. Bunch of Vikings. But they don't attack Lannisport and they don't rebel. They just go to races. But the map is the same. What's up? Hold on, I'm going to answer this. So in November, the Battle of the Bastards, Jon Snow, when they're trapped in the underworld of Scorpio, and then Sagittarius hits, where Jupiter, Zeus, Jesus, the god of the other gods, the king of the gods, shines through, and then it makes everyone afraid with the righteous truth, with the correct philosophy of the ways of life. Do you see what I'm saying? Where Jupiter expands and pushes everything away in Sagittarius. When the cavalry rides through, they represented that in the Battle of the Bastards with the army that was run by Peter Baelish and I think Sansa, right? Was it Sansa? Who came with Littlefinger? But it was all the mountain clans of the Northeast Kingdom, and I'm in the Northeast Kingdom. Came through and just wiped them out. How I'm doing? The Crows have disappeared. When we hit that 0-degree day, most of them froze to death. Where it was 30 degrees, and then it dropped to 0, and then it went back up to 50 degrees. So for 24 hours, it hit 0 to -5. And I took a walk through this area, and there's frozen skunks that are dead. There's a frozen raccoon down the road that I'm not going to skin, but I could if I wanted. So I'm assuming, because I haven't seen a single crow in the sky since. I haven't heard a crow caw. I haven't seen a crow. I haven't heard any birds. There's been no birds at all, no crows. Even the mouse hasn't come back. The only thing that I've seen is the squirrel that I feed every day that lives in the tree behind me. He showed up today to come adventure, and he screamed at me because I wouldn't give him any food. And I could sort of feel that the squirrel was like, "You need to feed me. The woods is pissed at you." Because the other day I found a bunch of really cool stuff in a box, and then I dislodged a family of rats, and then I was going to take it because there's a bunch of air filters, and then I thought, if rats built a house in that, I don't really want it. It's probably going to smell like shit, and it's probably not going to be able to insulate very well. So that's how I'm doing. I have $250. I'm about to spend $100 tomorrow. I was trying to save up for a guitar or for a lawsuit, but I'd like to get my wagon. So I'm going to buy a wagon from Tractor Supply for $100. And then I'm going to take it to wherever I want to go next. And I'm going to fucking leave. Because I felt like I did everything. Everywhere I go, I've made a change. I can't think of anywhere here where I'm legally allowed to do anything. I've already spoken to everybody. They attacked me for months. I withstood all their attacks. I was unaffected. They got so bad they sent police, and the police did abuse of power and excessive force in tons of games, and then harassed me for months. Then my lawyer stood up for me in the courtroom and bitched them out. And I was given a chance to speak, and instead of yelling with him, I chose to be simple and humble, and I didn't go off about how I was treated. I just stated what started the whole thing with the police after he made those claims, and which is I did nothing wrong, and the cops targeted me and harassed me. That's how I'm feeling. That entire rant from when I started laughing to now was me kind of going into the backseat of my mind. Look how cool this is. The clouds have opened up since I stood here. So if you look, there's no clouds at all. The clouds are completely covering the sky. But right where I was is the eye of the storm before the next wave of winter comes in. Isn't that cool? Right where I pointed the phone at first, the clouds have all opened up to allow me to see the night sky. Ain't that sweet? If anyone makes it this far, thank you. Let me know if you can go back and scroll through my videos and see if Ain't Life Sweet is visible to you. Because from what I'm seeing and what from other people are saying, a very rare thing that happens on YouTube has happened to specifically my channel, where my best song so far, an original song, is only accessible if you search it up on the Google search bar. You can't find it by scrolling through my videos. You can't find it on your suggested For You pages. The only way to find that video is to look for it. I exposed a lot of narcissists in my hometown. And I fought them. And then I won by not subjecting myself. I had a tarot reading. The tarot reader went live and it was suggested for me while I was arguing with the entire state. The thing I mainly exposed is how much they hate when I say nigga, but how much they're throwing out the word junkie. In the same paragraph that people were going off for me, they were saying N followed by like 4 asterisks, which is saying that everyone knows what you're saying. It's not polite or respectful to add the asterisks. And then say, in the same sentence, calling me a no good, dirty junkie. Based completely on their perceived prejudice that because I'm the only one that seems to be advocating for homelessness and that people with PTSD deserve respect, that I have to be a junkie and I deserve to be hurt and beaten and have laws made that the white people that live in the nice houses can exploit to make their day worse until they're forced to leave the area when they came to this area to seek asylum from cities. Everybody's like, they came here for benefits and handouts. And then you talk to them and they're like, I was being raped like twice a week in New York City. They were pimping me out for money. I came here for a better life. But nobody talks about that. I can't stand on heroin addicts. Every time I go there, it's a fight. They want to hurt me. They're like vicious, ravenous monsters that I have to fight every time I go. I get why they're mad. But you're not going to solve it by finding loopholes to make them go down the street so you can't see them anymore. They're going to do the same exact thing that happened to the townspeople, where they bundle up until they explode. So moving the homeless into a ghetto is just going to increase crime until they mobilize, organize, and then come back and ruin your life better. So I don't even want to end homelessness anymore. That's what I was set out to do. If the justice system hadn't abused me because my mother lied, I would have devoted the past 2 years to shining so much and implementing so many solutions that the world, I think the world would have been fixed. It absolutely would have been fixed by now. I would have had everybody, everywhere I went, all of these buildings would have solar panels. There would be solar arrays. Everybody would have a chicken coop. Everybody would have a microgreen farm. There would be this whole place right here would be a food forest full of fully self-sustainable food that you could just go here and pick off the tree. All of the endangered species, I would have weaponized and mobilized the people that want to hunt these animals to instead be focused solely on capturing the endangered species, just to take a few of them, and you would be rewarded for it to keep them alive, so that we could start a breeding program quickly, just to kind of fluff up the numbers a little bit and then send them back out. I would have built gyms. I would have had many gyms built by now. I would have had a gym in every single town that would be free. A public gym like Muscle Beach in every single town, the same place where they have public parks. There will be a pull up and dip bar and a bench press. And I would drive a Falcon. There we go. Good night.